Wow. Okay. Hello.
How are you?
Oh, chaotic day.
What?
Chaotic day.
Really? Did you get all the cars out that were supposed to be out?
No,
Did you have any unhappy customers?
no.
Oh, well, then that's all right. Take
Other
all the
than I'm
time you
sorry
want.
your hood came in damaged and I'm not putting a damaged part on your car, so I'm gonna have to ask you to wait another day, but not much I can do about that. Most people are pretty understanding.
Well, if you put a damaged part on their car, then they'd be unhappy.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, no. So sometimes it just comes down to it is what it is.
Great pleased with the turnout.
Yeah.
I was.
Very well. Went over very well. I haven't heard how much they raised yet. So.
It doesn't matter. To me, that's not the important.
Oh, no, it was PR, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. You can't lose money on this.
Oh, no, I wouldn't want to lose money, but it's still great.
Good turnout.
Yeah.
Everybody stayed around.
Did everybody stay for the deal afterwards?
Yes.
Yeah, I have some suggestions for them on that. Something that I have no complaints. Great. But I think there's a couple things we can do to enhance. But
Making it better.
great mailing list of all, if we can just get mailings to all of those that played
I agree.
for membership.
They have all that.
Yeah, I know, that's what I
Yeah,
just
they sent out email.
names and addresses. Yeah. I went around visiting with a lot of the people that were there and finding out where they were from, telling them thanks for coming and like to have you back for more.
Absolutely.
And
No, he's circling stuff. I just want to see if he had any questions. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
How are you, young lady?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, young man? I'm good. Great. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Awfully big bags. Feed me for a week.
You know, Miss Marie.
Thank you.
Peter shows up to shop with Sonic jalapeno poppers for a snack at 4:30 this afternoon. I've seen that, but I haven't tried it. And I'm like, you know what? You can have this here. I got a thing in the mail today from Ford's Cafe. Free
That goes back to.
fried pickles.
And
Oh, there you
that
go.
goes down here. Hi, everybody. One down north and one down east.
That's my grocery bag, not a lunch bag. Oh, my dessert tipped over. I bet it still tastes the same.
There's some thank you cards you can pass around, just public.
Anything else for me, Andrew, or?
That's close enough you can reach.
Oh, sorry.
No, it
Where
was
do we
my
get
fault.
doggy bags?
At lunch when I wasn't supposed to.
You may have to use that as your doggy bag.
Your son was a very nice looking young man.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, your dad.
I
Yes,
guess.
I was
We're
I
hoping
lunched
not.
when I was not supposed to.
We won't go there.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, he seemed like it. And his little sister kind of idolized him, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
I just gotta ask, how long are we gonna be here tonight? Because it looks like they're feeding us. They were
While.
gonna be here till 4 in the morning.
Wow, look at that writing. Straight as.
And one of here, there is gravy for your,
Yeah, one's gravy,
Just
one's
so you know.
soup. Don't pour the soup on your meal, you might be disappointed.
one is, I think, broccoli and cheese.
Yep.
I don't know, that might be good. Said I put 2 patties in there because I didn't think one was enough. Mask, I apologize.
That bottle, you might say, is a little crooked. I can't get it. I got called, or yesterday, I got called to do a United Way presentation to Dylanese. I said, I hope I still remember it.
I know they were doing a lot online work.
Yeah, well, she said she was surprised when she called, they called Dance this one, and she said she called her substitutes and her backups and nobody could do it, guys. I said, okay, what if I don't remember how? Thanks, Marilyn. My finger, there, I got it. My fingers don't work as good as they used to. Hello, hello.
Are we?
Good.
Well, not hungry anyway.
These are nice this year. Great color.
Where does this go?
Okay. And like with interest online, you guys can send out a packet of stuff.
Like for everyone?
It's sealed, yes.
Oh, wow.
There's broccoli cheese soup, and there's gravy for your Salisbury steak. And salad and dessert.
Shannon, what are you doing?
We're testing the bottom leg on this, see if it sets a little longer for you. That help anything?
Sure.
Wow, look at you.
Put you on the payroll.
Should be better.
Yeah.
Those little feet on the bottom of those are adjustable, so.
Thank you. Now, next time if it's in a different position, I'll have to put that one and put another one down, but I was sitting exactly there, and that seemed to help. Can't tell back in the olden days when it was still Plaza Inn. I spent some time as sales manager and neighborhood manager there, so I've adjusted a few table and chair legs in the past.
That good stuff just continues to go with you.
You never know when you might need it.
That's right.
Does anyone have their executive session little cheat sheet? We will have,
Marilyn has it.
we have an executive session tonight. No action, but it would be for personnel.
I have it typed out right there for you too.
Oh, okay.
Amy's right on it.
Okay.
Very thick soup.
The study and the homegoing.
I just feel very took over.
Generally, that.
FaceTimes me, she won't listen. She says she forgot her password. Her teacher asked her, I don't know how to contact the teacher. I'm like, forget it all to it. Because they FaceTime when they have to get on something else called Orange or something like that. Got a password for that, so 2 seconds to get it.
Remember when we just had to run to school the forgotten backpack or textbook or lunchbox?
Oh. It got really.
My daughter is, she has 3 boys that she has to. And the parent is responsible to make sure that the kids turn in their stuff. They have to check in each night. And she goes, Mom, it's a disaster. She goes, every platform has a different set
I
of.
just have the one, I don't.
Nobody heard it all. Yeah, but she goes, I don't know if I'm getting them all. Because you hit one link or one tab and you don't know if you're getting all of them.
A little bit easier for me since it's only 3rd grade, but
These guys are 8th grade and 9th grade.
oh,
And she finally ended up just hiring a tutor to stay home with them.
oh.
Because she ended up being the bad guy all the
And she came home and she's tired and now
Yep.
she's gonna do work.
Yep.
What is this thing, by the way?
time. I know, it's like cheese whiz.
Yeah.
But I think that's working out better for him,
Oh, good. Just lucky to find the tutor.
right?
Where do they live now?
They live in Houston, Texas, Spring, Texas. And chose to do all online. Good.
Yeah. You can use that as nacho dip, yeah.
Have anything that you need to throw away?
No. Take mine home.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to be going home.
No, that helps. Yeah. Yeah, definitely will appreciate it.
Morning.
Hey, good evening. Morning.
Hello,
Afternoon.
get through there?
Yes, ma'am. How is everyone?
Full, it looks like.
Yeah.
Did you win the golf tournament?
Not even close. Well, we didn't flat so either, and that was one of our goals.
And I had fun.
Now some team from out of town one of them.
I lost.
Where from, do you know?
I didn't recognize him. No, I think it was one of, I think it may have been one of Emmett's team, our new track coach. I think he put 3 teams together. I think it was one of his
Oh,
teams.
really?
Yeah. Carlos Barreto thought he was robbed. He thought he was gonna win it there.
Who is that?
Carlos Barreto, wrestling coach up at the high school.
He always thinks he's robbed of something, and it's just
It's
Carlos.
just Carlos.
There's a bunch of people. Wow.
Yeah,
Great turnout.
yeah, 36 teams. That was good. They did a good job of putting that together.
Golf is magical.
I know when we had the United Way tournament, we had more teams than ever, and people were just like so excited to be outside, and
Yeah.
hadn't really had any organized golf.
One of the few things you can actually
Mhm.
He was going through them all and circling. I tried to put my thing in there.
It won't? I thought it would.
Oh, did it now? I couldn't get mine to shut. Oh, maybe I had something on top of it.
I can just,
Where did you
Like,
find
they
your
directly
green,
approved the only thing.
base?
I think there's something I want to say.
Amazon.
See, communication here.
Is it part of the band, or is it just there all the time?
Referencing.
It's separate, it's there all the time, it came with the band, so I can swap it out. They have to get replaced every so often at the shop, or I get them grungy going back.
Right.
so
And
you
that clear
want me to do this
plastic, you
during,
just,
I mean, because we're, gotta approve the minutes from.
you replace and move on, there's no reviving that.
So my thinking is just to say, no, it's I mean, I was thinking, we'll just read this, what I'm in the list, state high request. Should I say that? You want us to read it verbatim? No, I'll just say that we can receive an email.
That was maybe a discrepancy of what he said versus what Trustee said about posting the minutes. And that sense has been corrected and everything is online. I got one there, I think. What's this? Anything that you?
Right.
No, I'm just gonna reference, I'm gonna go through that INS report. Okay. We just got it there today. So.
Okay,
No worries.
okay, good enough. Yeah, sounds good. I got 59. Everyone, getting, I don't know, are we using that clock or are we using my clock?
Say the computer.
Okay, I got 5 minutes then.
Oh, the computer says?
It says 5:55. I have 5:59. I got 6 o'clock.
I got 6.
On my phone.
6? I got 6
Should
on
we
the
go by
phone.
that? Because that's.
I have 6.
We'll wait for,
At home
we'll wait when
watching.
Leonard gets back and we'll go ahead and start. All of our phones say 6. Leonard, I got 6 o'clock. We're gonna go ahead and start if you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. I suppose if Andrew's got us all going, are we good to go, Andrew? I know, but I just want to make sure that we usually, I know. Yeah, you're good. We're good? Okay. This is Blake Wassinger. I'm going to go ahead and call the October 13th Garden City Community College Board of Trustees meeting to order. Again, we're meeting to socially distance and to keep the campus safe. So while we do this, and by Zoom. I'm going to ask everyone to do a roll call, and then please, if you're talking, speak your name before talking, just so for record's sakes and anybody that's listening knows who's talking. So I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is Blake present.
Candace Smith, present.
Marilyn Douglas, present.
Beth Tedrow, present.
David Ruff, present.
Leonard Hitz, present.
Okay, great. So got a few things. It's been a busy month. We've obviously met in between time for our board retreat, but a few things from myself, and then we're going to get into some of the new employees that we've been putting off. But PRISM, for anyone that doesn't know, is an organization. It stands for Providing Respect and Inclusion for Social Minorities here on Garden City Community College campus. On October 5th, the Prison Club presented Murder at a Wolf Hotel. It was a murder mystery puppet show in the Pauline Joyce Fine Arts Auditorium, and they also got the League of Women Voters out here on campus, and that basically just helps get information out, for voting and questions to assist the students in the voting plans. Also, HALO, Garden City Community College would like to welcome our new 2020 and 2021 camp ambassadors. They help recruit and promote for Camp Assistant Migrant Program. They serve as liaison, spokesperson, and advocate for the program at Garden City Community College. And currently for this month, September 15th through October 15th, a few more days, they've been recognizing Hispanic Heritage Month. In the athletics realm, Cole Dewey has been chosen to speak at the inaugural Top Connect Symposium. He's one of 30 coaches taking part in this event. Broncbusters Cross Country, I think the only sport right now that's playing, is currently ranked 22nd in the latest national polls. And in addition, the athletics department will be hosting Mark Potter. He's an inspirational speaker on October 15th, so on Thursday, 2 days from now at 7 p.m. And he's going to share his story of overcoming severe depression, which I think in this day and age is something that we need to focus on, obviously even more now than ever, but especially with our young athletes and individuals all together. So this is going to be live streamed through the GoBroncbusters.com, also on Buster TV through the YouTube channel. There's some more information. I'm sure you can get information either on Garden City's website or call the president's office. We can get you some more information there. And I was supposed to, and I didn't get a chance, but I know we just want to personally thank all the faculty, staff, everyone that's on campus, and in doing so, the board, we were able to gather up some funding and get gift cards to Scooters and Patrick Dugans, and getting that out to all the faculty, staff, administration, and we just want to thank you. I know it's been a little bit of a challenging semester, but we certainly appreciate what you do and continue to do, and keep up the good work. And other than that, I have a few reminders that I'll speak towards the end, and we can discuss those a little bit further, but that is all I have for comments for over the last month. I will go ahead and move into the introduction of new employees, and to my understanding, I think we're going to have them come through on the Zoom. Is that right?
Yeah.
We've got a few that we need to catch up on, so we'll go ahead and introduce those new employees.
Yeah, it's been since March since we've done this there. So Greg we'll let you start and introduce the new employees on your side, please.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All right. It's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. We've had quite a few hires in athletics since that time frame. Antoine Scales is our new head women's basketball coach. Cole Dewey is our new head men's basketball coach. We hired Emmett Statzer as our head cross and track coach. Coleman Bender is an assistant basketball coach with our women's program. Zach Toll is an assistant with our men's basketball program. Amy Schmeckpepper is our new head softball coach. Brittany Redmond is also an assistant hoops coach with the women. We hired Alex Hoddleston as our head strength and conditioning coach. And then we also hired a new head athletic trainer. Her name is Allison Griffin, and she's doing a tremendous job. So all of those individuals are doing really well for us. We're very fortunate to have them, and they're doing a great job with our student athletes. That's all I have.
Bless you.
Thanks, Greg.
Bless you.
May have, is there a way they can pull them up on the screen?
Is there a way we can?
They have to do it themselves,
Oh,
if we can talk to them. Let them
Okay.
know to turn on their video.
Yeah.
There they
There
are.
we go.
There they are.
Cole.
There's
Are we
Cole.
on?
Hey, guys, more.
good. Cole's actually back for round 2 as a Bronc Buster. He was here previously as an assistant and now is the head men's basketball coach. So great to have him and his leadership back.
Happy to be back.
Hi, everybody. I think I've met most of you when I was showing you around the AT room, but it's really great to see all of you in like mini versions.
Thanks, Allie. Great to have you.
We have anyone else?
Turn on their video.
Amy's there. She's just muted. Amy, you gotta unmute yourself.
Maybe she doesn't want.
Oh, sorry. I'm Amy. Nice to meet you. I'm the new softball coach.
Amy.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Tell us where you're from and what's going on.
I'm actually from Boise, Idaho, but I've been working over in Lamar, Colorado the last 5 years. So we just got done with practice and went good today. So things are going good with the girls. The weather's nice. So yeah, we're just cruising.
Great.
Great.
Glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Amy. Any other coaches on that want to come and say hi real quick?
I don't think I see anybody. I apologize. They might have trouble with their Zoom. They
Yep,
should,
no worries.
because we've been on Zoom enough over the past few months. We should all have a really good understanding of how to do it. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Colin, you want to introduce your staff, please?
Sure. Look, okay, Cindy Sassman just joined us as well. Cindy Sassman is our new Director of Admission, and her first day was started on July 13th. And Cindy, with that, I'll let you go ahead and tell a little bit about yourself and that you're Garden City, originally from Garden City as well. So go ahead and get started.
She's got
Hi,
a
everyone. I'm born and raised in Garden City. I attended the JUCO. Then I graduated from KU and got my master's in school counseling from Fort Hays. I previously was an academic advisor at a 4-year school in Nebraska, but it's really good to be back in Garden City and working for the college.
It's been a tremendous addition there for us and brings a lot of good experience. So great to have you, Cindy.
Didn't you play basketball somewhere after high school?
I didn't. I played golf at Fort Hays for 1 year.
All right.
I should have played it here. I wish I would have played here.
She coached basketball though, right?
Yeah, I coached for 1 year at Johnson County Community College.
We're glad you're back. Thank you.
Yeah, good to be back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and then Mark, you want to introduce your new employee, please?
Everybody, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Dawn, I know Dawn's on here. Dawn, I don't know if you have a camera. Are you in your office still?
No, actually, I'm sitting in my car. I thought I had it ready to go. I went out to eat with my husband.
Awesome. Well, Dawn Tucker is joining us. She is our new dual credit coordinator, and she also serves as an assistant to the Dean of Academics. But in that role as dual credit coordinator, she's really responsible as a liaison for all of our high school partnerships, including Garden City and all of our other schools. Holcomb, there she is.
Here I am.
So Dawn has a long history in education that I won't go into, but Dawn, we're really happy that you're here and to say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Dawn has a lot of great connections there just from the K-12 system and just a lot of abilities to help bridge with the dual credit side of things. Great to have her on board.
Thank you. I'm excited to try something else after 30 years in K-12 education. So I'm excited to be at Garden.
Hopefully this is refreshing for you. Yeah.
It absolutely is. I learn something new every day. I make a mistake every day, and the challenge is real, that's for sure.
Cool.
Where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm from Colorado, a little bitty town called Swink. It's between La Junta and Rocky Ford. Yeah, that's where I grew up, and I went to college in Oklahoma to rodeo, and then I got my first job in Johnson, and I've been in Kansas ever since.
Good deal. All right, glad to have you. Thanks.
Thank you. You guys have a good evening.
Thank you. You too.
All right, I think that's all the new employees will do. I think that gets us current through July, and then next month we'll do August, September, October.
Great. Okay, perfect. Moving on to consent agenda. I might make one note on the consent agenda before I believe everyone got an email today. Community member Heron Kacharik had requested that he noted that the minutes were wrong or out of context. Basically, had noted that when he had spoke about the minutes being posted online, and Trustee Smith stated that the minutes were corrected. That he was referring to the video recordings in the meeting, not the actual minutes. So he just asked that we obviously acknowledge that, and obviously a slip up, not intentional by any means, but conveying that to everyone, and that we're acknowledging that obviously he had concern about that. So we just to discuss that, just to let everyone know. So. As far as going forth on the consent agenda, if there is anything anyone would like to remove for discussion, now would be that time. I'd like to remove item D just to discuss a little bit further on that, or a little further explanation on that, but anyone else have anything they would like to remove? Not, I would ask for a motion for the consent agenda as presented.
I move that we approve the consent agenda items A, B, C, and for approval.
I second it. It's Marilyn.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve of the consent agenda A, B, and C with the removal of D for further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll go do a roll call real quick on that. This is Blake, aye.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye.
Beth, aye.
David, aye. Leonard, aye.
Okay, Great. And so item D, that's on page 36. And I obviously don't have any objections to the early educational certificate that we're introducing. My only more or less is just asking Dr. Ruda if he could kind of describe what exactly this will do for our community and what it hopes to fill the gap in, and maybe a little bit more further information besides what's on the background information clarified.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Mark will be here as well, but this is a certificate program that we're putting in, industry recognized credential that works towards what's called a Child Development Associate. We've had offerings of early childhood courses, just having them strictly as courses, but not leading towards a recognized credential. But we did have several conversations throughout this past year, really just here in Finney County, to be able to help address a lot of the training needs that are existent within a lot of our daycare centers, early child care centers. The need to be able to have a little bit more robust and specific credentialized training that would go towards being able to help better prepare individuals as they move into those positions. So over the course of this past year, we've been working with it's called Finney County Early Learning Network, which is coordinated through economic development. We actually have one of our faculty members, Courtney Morris, who serves on that board and helps to guide and direct really in the direction of early childhood learning and training in Finney County. So what we have proposed and what we put forward there is really just the first step that we need to take in order to move towards proposing to the Kansas Board of Regents this 17-hour certificate credential there in order for us to begin offering this for that industry recognition. Mark, I don't know if you have anything further.
I don't specifically. I think that the idea behind it is to just offer a package of courses that provide both a college credential and prepare the students for a professional industry wide credential. That's the Child Development Associate, the CDA, is a nationally recognized industry credential. And the goal is to provide a package of courses that provide those credentials and help students really train and upskill for credentialing purposes to meet the demand for childcare providers in our area. And I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have.
I think the other aspect, and it's talked about here just within the board packet also, is that this provides an additional avenue for us on dual credit possibilities there as well. So we have had conversations both with open school districts and Garden City school districts, and I know several other within our service area that have interest in being able to begin offering these as well. One point that I would make, and it was brought up by Trustee Tedrow, just in that last paragraph where it says the college's curriculum instruction approved, the construction trades survey is actually the early childhood survey. They did approve the construction trades, but for this particular one, it would be the early childhood there. But other than that, everything is accurate there within the board document.
And it says we have some of the classes already. What percentage of the total package? How many more are we having to add versus what we already had existing?
Yeah.
Half and half?
I don't know if there's a specific percentage that I could give you off the top of my head. I could certainly look that up. I know that the conversations with the Finney County Child Care Early Learning Network, with Finney County Economic Development, they've been long and ongoing. And so this is kind of the next step in the process. And many of those courses have been added over the past year. I would need to look more specifically But the courses, they involve things like, health and safety for a child, identifying health risks in the home, planning effective nutritionally sound meals for students. So those are some of the things in the courses that have been made over the last year.
What's been the response of 457 and 363? Said you're in conversation with the local school districts. What's it about the opportunities? What's their response?
I mean, both have been very receptive. Both actually already have the pathways in place on their side. And what I mean by that there is that in order for it to count, either towards the CTE funding or to be able to have an alignment there, they have to have a pathway at the K-12 level that aligns with the pathway at the post-secondary level. So both Holcomb and Garden City School District have that pathway in place. Several of our other service area high schools also as well. But it's been received very favorably, and there's strong interest there within that.
So I'm not familiar with childcare in a long time. Is this a requirement to work in a daycare now, or is it just the owner, developer, or everybody has to have this?
Mark, I'll yield to you.
Our Courtney Morris, who's our faculty member who actually sits on that early learning network board, is actually teaching class, or she would be here right now to give you better, more specific answers. But it is not required for someone to have this training in order to open their own care facility, for example, in their home. It becomes more required when we talk about an organized facility. And one of the things that we kind of have been kind of supporting and championing is this idea that there are correlations between high quality childcare very early on and later success and later educational outcomes. And so we see this kind of movement, developing courses, packaging them into the certificate option, and perhaps going further in the future if that's warranted. We see all of that as kind of a dual approach of for strengthening our local service area, making sure that we have safe and effective childcare available, so meeting that demand. But we also see it as supporting educational outcomes in the very long-term picture, making sure that children have options for safe and effective childcare that is really backed up and correlated with those learning outcomes long-term. So I'm not quite sure if I answered your question. I tried, but if there's anything else you'd like, I can certainly give a stab at it or get you some more information after the meeting.
I think the other thing that I would say, just piggybacking off of what Mark had mentioned, and I probably equate it to the carpentry program. A lot of what we were hearing from industry partners there when we were exploring the carpentry program was, do you need a credential with carpentry in order to come to work and be able to swing a hammer? No, you do not. Well, what it really came down to is those individual contractors are spending the time to be able to train individuals how to read measuring tapes, how to do the skill sets and framing. If we can offer that and be able to help expedite the skill acquisition, that helps them be able to move into the job. And so that's really the same mentality as what we have here in early childhood.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
You're very welcome.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve item D on the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it. This is Leonard.
Okay, I have a motion from Marilyn and a second from Leonard. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We'll do a roll call real quick. This is Blake, aye.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye.
Beth, aye.
David, aye. Leonard, aye.
Okay, great. Consent agenda is all taken care of. We'll move into item 3, the educational presentations. This is, I believe, working off of the strategic plan. Is that kind of right? Or is this separate? Well, it's health programs and then strategic planning, I guess.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are two programs, the English and the Allied Health.
Okay.
Are 2 programs that went through an academic program, which is our 5-year review cycle that we have. Encompasses, really looking at everything from student success, retention aspects, but then also the steps of the programs that have taken for continuous improvement. So I think we do have, Sheena's going to do. We do have Sheena Hernandez with us there who can give you just an overview of some of the findings from the program reviews and stand for any questions.
Good evening.
I did.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Good evening. If I'm able to, Andrew, I don't know if I have permissions to share my information. I'm gonna try it. Can you all see that okay?
Yes.
Unfortunately, this isn't something that I do very often, so what I'm trying to do is share it with all this extra business at the top of it. Hopefully more readable. Okay, are you able to see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Okay, so the English department is a 2-pronged focus here at the college. We have our core focus, which deals with our writing courses and the essential skills that we cover. We also have our program focus, which deals with English majors in particular. What it translates to is that for general education, we teach the writing courses. Some of the literature courses fall into this. We focus on composition, reading and analyzing text, peer reviews, writing process, those sorts of things. For programs, it's a little more broad in what we do. We still do the same things we do in general education, but focus specifically for majors. Some advantages to the English degree is that the skill set doesn't have to contend with obsolescence. Generally, the same skills they learned the first time, they don't have to go back and get these skills again or recertified or what have you. And generally, English graduates even out in potential earnings, so it grows over time, as opposed to other majors that may start out well but have to go back and contend with more schooling or flatlining on their potential for earnings. English majors are employable in more than just teaching. We have several that go into communications, publishing, public relations. Some of them, for some reason, jump to math and go with banking. English is also a very good starter degree or basic degree for graduate studies like med school or law school or things like that. Any questions so far?
No.
I do that a lot. I can't stop myself from doing it. I think it's a teacher habit. So our English department is made up of 7 faculty, full-time faculty. We have about 7 or 8 adjuncts working for us right now. Here's a list of everyone and what their specialties are. Everyone is capable of teaching everything, and we do, but with our graduate degree, some of us went a little more specific in some areas. So between us, we've got about 40-something years, no one check my math, here at the college by itself. So it's a lot of experience. Here are some examples of things that we offer. We offer basic English, English Companion, which goes hand in hand with Composition 1 for students who need that. We have an integrated reading and writing on the books, applied communications for the tech program, standard Composition 1 and 2, and various literature offerings. Between 2014 and 2018, we delivered 16,723 credit hours. This does not include adjunct faculty. This is only the full-time faculty. That on top of service for the community and the college itself, various committees, developing courses and texts, serving on boards, volunteering, etc. Some other highlights, we had a 19% success rate increase in 101 between those years, and a 4% success rate increase in 102 between those years. Completion rates increased 18% for 101 and 10% for 102, and English full-time and part-time faculty complete all of their assessments on time at 100% participation. So some pros, in the previous 5 years, somewhere between 2014 and 2018-19, the amount of classes taught by full-time faculty rose 30% from about 38 point something percent to almost 69%. We've increased the number of full-time faculty from 5 to 7 because of demand, and we have relatively strong evaluations any semester from both students and administrators. A con of our program is that it is small. We haven't been able to focus as much on consistent recruitment because of how much we offer, but we are working on it.
Sheena, what do you mean by small?
On any given semester, we have 2 to 5 English program majors. It is quite small, and because it's so small, we can't offer as many literature courses as we need to for them to transfer. So we've been looking at some ways of offering more courses, looking at offering them coinciding other courses across the curriculum, and those sorts of things to try to promote our literature courses a bit more. Most of our students come through the other leg of the department. We teach a lot of composition courses. Here are some things that we've done in the last few years. We've established a writing center. Chris Turpin is our coordinator for that. We have applied and received a Mary Jo Williams grant, through which we have obtained a mobile computer cart for student use. And we are in the process still of refurbishing the Joyce building. We've already done a few classrooms, our classroom and the entryway. We are still working on a few art things in collaboration with the art department. We've petitioned for and selected, we were granted selective lighting in Joyce classrooms for ease of student viewing for certain things, student sensitivity to light, et cetera, et cetera. We've provided faculty training opportunities on plagiarism and Unicheck. We've created individual texts. We're looking to co-teach or cross-list courses starting in the spring. We've developed courses to meet demand and need. We've shortened course sequence. So we used to have 2 developmental courses. We've now taken that and kind of shortened the pathway so students can get through this program a little bit faster. Questions? So long-term improvements, we are looking at increasing our recruitment efforts so that we can have more and consistent majors. Looking into granting scholarship opportunities, club activities, starting a club, those sorts of things that attract majors. And we are also looking up to come up with a plan to track majors, because we only have 2 to 5 at any given time. You would think it would be a lot easier to keep track of them, but sometimes we don't know where they go or what they end up doing. So we are working on doing that better, tracking our majors and giving them more help not the word that I want, but giving them more of a springboard as they leave here. And that is everything. What questions can I answer for you?
Back on the list of courses that you guys offer, starting with the basic English and going into Comp 1 and 2, if you can go back to, I don't know if you can pull up that slide again, as well as some of the other program, the World Lit and that. What are we seeing those, all the literature side and like, I'm assuming Comp 1 and 2 transfer, or is that whole list transfer? What are we seeing transfers to four-year universities?
Composition 1 and 2 transfer. These literatures here that are listed also transfer on the
Okay.
list.
Okay.
Except for British, for some reason. I think we're working on that, or
Okay.
working on that.
Okay. So basically your basic English and the 090 and 98, 99 don't transfer, is that right? That's just.
Those are developmental courses.
Okay.
The companion course is in conjunction with the Composition 1 course, so students would take it at the same time. Those students who need a little extra boost would also be in the 098, so they'd have 4 hours instead of 3. The Applied Communications course is a terminal. It's a replacement for 101. So students in the tech programs might take Applied Communications instead of taking Composition 1, as they don't intend to transfer. Basic English does not transfer. It is a remedial.
Anything with a 0
Sure.
in front will not.
And so we're not having any, again, I think we always bring this up, but we don't have any troubles with, especially in state as far as transferring. Those are recognized, no problem.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Those would be listed on the system-wide transfer.
Yeah. Okay.
Things that we offer most consistently are system-wide transfer. As far as literature courses, most of those listed transfer. British doesn't, but those tend to be majors when they take them. So they take it with them and go into another English program where it would probably be accepted, depending on the school they went into.
Sheena, this is Marilyn. Are any of your full-time faculty teaching in-class and outreach classes or online classes?
Fully online or hybrid?
Online.
Okay. None of my full-time faculty are teaching fully online courses as far as through Jamie Durler with, some high school student or something like that. I do have faculty that are teaching from home due to COVID. So is that what you meant? Or are you thinking more asynchronously?
No, I was thinking, yeah, asynchronously, I guess is the term that you use. Yes.
No, none of them are teaching asynchronously at this point. They are teaching synchronously. We have a couple of instructors who are teaching due to health reasons, but they always meet at the exact same time and then they are live with their students through Zoom.
Okay, so I was thinking or referring to like our old Educan classes that were available to anybody to take.
No, we have 3 online instructors and teach those.
Still there?
I am.
Okay.
And those online instructors are specifically online and they're part-time. Is that correct, Sheena?
That is correct. Yes.
So I think what you're saying is the difference is the part-time versus full-time.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Repeat that?
So I think what you're saying is, yes, you offer online classes, but it's your part-time instructors that are teaching those, not the full-time.
Oh, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Very good. Okay, any other questions for Sheena? And now we have Allied Health. Is that correct?
Yep, thanks, Sheena. Yes, and we have Glenda Owens with our Allied Health Department, who will provide an overview on this program review. Hi, Glenda.
Hi. Thank you, Dr. Ruda and members of the board for this opportunity to share about our CNA program. The CNA everyone can hear me okay?
Yes.
Our CNA program is one of 3 in our Allied Health Department. We have CNA, Home Health Aid, and Medication Aid. And the mission of our CNA is to provide a pathway, an entry level into the healthcare field for either nursing or some other allied health. It is a pathway into our medication aid as well as our home health aid, and is a prerequisite for our nursing program. The primary focus of CNA is regulated by Kansas Department of Aging and Disability and gears towards long-term care skill sets for our CNAs. Fortunately, in our program, we also have skill sets that we teach the students to work in clinics as well as hospitals. That way that they're very versatile once they leave our program. We've been very successful in growing our CNA program. Since the CNA program started about 12-15 years ago, we've increased our pass rates from 80% first time taking their state exam to right now it's averaging 98%, which is really very well. We're one of the top in the state for that. The state allows a student to take 3 chances to pass their state certificate. So if a student doesn't pass the 2%, they can go a second time. And right now our pass rate for second attempt is running between 95% and 100%. And then their final attempt they're able to have is running around 98%. So those are very high percentages for our students to pass and get their certificates. In the last 5 years, we've enrolled 975 students in CNA, and 963 of those students have all passed and received a certificate and have been employable in our community. We have increased enrollment approximately 60% since this program was instituted. So we've done a lot of things to initiate this growth. When it first started, it was just a face-to-face campus class that they came on campus and took the course and then took their certificate. In this growth period, we have added hybrid classes so that it's part online and part in person. The online course is all the book course, but because of state regulations, they still have to meet in person to do their labs and hands-on training and to do their hours of clinical work. So we've incorporated that hybrid learning for our returning adults who maybe want to do a career change and can't come face-to-face every day for 8 weeks. And then we've also increased our outreach so that we go out into communities in our region that we can offer the hybrid or face-to-face, as well as we have really grown in our high school program, our concurrent classes for our high school students. We now incorporate high school, not only Garden City, but we have Deerfield, Holcomb, Tribune, Lakin, Syracuse, Scott City, Leota, Healy, and Dighton. And we do programs for all these high school students as well. So that has been a tremendous growth for us. With these growing periods, we've been fortunate to add a second instructor. For many years, we only had 1 instructor. And so we've added a second instructor, which I feel very fortunate because the qualifications for allied health instructors is very difficult with KDADS, our regulatory board. They require that they have 2 years of long-term care experience And many nurses, although they may be even a nurse practitioner, may not have those hours, which seems kind of unreasonable, but because of that, they're not able to teach for us. So finding a qualified instructor is very difficult. And so we're fortunate that we have two very dedicated instructors, Carolyn Bradshaw and Sherry Williams. So we have full-time employees in our department. Myself as the program coordinator and Caroline and Sherry. Oh, let's see. And we've been very fortunate also. I've written many grants. And so in the past 5 years, we've received over $45,000 in grants to buy all new lab equipment and training equipment, simulators that are now top of the line that give the students real hands-on experience before we send them out there to do the clinicals. And with the new COVID era, it has been a great blessing because now where we're not able to go out into the facilities and we're doing our clinical hours as simulation scenarios in our labs, we have all those simulation suits and we have the equipment that give them as realistic possibility of taking care of an elderly as possible without actually physically being in the long-term care facilities. So I'm very thankful that we've been able to grow with our lab and our equipment. And in the program review, if you want, on page 23 is a full list of all the new equipment that we've received. And again, it's not just for long-term care, it's clinical care, it's hospital care. We have the newest of the hospital beds. We have the newest of the transport equipment that we would use. So I'm very thankful for that. And we've also been able to develop outreach kits for our faculty to take. So when they do go to the high schools or the outreach locations, those students in those other communities are getting the exact same training, lab experience, clinical experience, didactic knowledge that if they came onto our campus. So we're 100% across the board of equal learning opportunity for those students. Our future plans, to meet the needs of what we really need, we need adjunct instructors. And as you know, it's very difficult to get the qualification for an instructor for us, but that's one of the focuses that I'm really going to work on is trying to find this adjunct, because right now, my two instructors, they could work 24/7, 365 days a year, and we would still have a waiting list for our program. So we need adjunct instructors so that we can have them teach on weekends, evenings, and through the summer when there may be some transitioning adults who have other jobs and can't take our courses but would like to. And so that's a growth in an area I really want to work towards. We just recently, I want to share, partnered with KU Alzheimer's Disease Center. The state is working towards developing a dementia plan requiring that CNAs have to have certain amount of hours and training in dementia care. And so we've already moved forward in that in our CNA curriculum and started introducing dementia training. And we are now going to partner with Alzheimer's Disease Center to where they will do virtual curriculum training. They'll go on an hour with our students, and they're going to introduce some of their clientele and residents and patients that are diagnosed with Alzheimer's that will work personally with our students virtually. So I'm very excited about this new partnership that we're going to have with them that's going to bring that forth. And then once the state makes it a mandate that our CNAs have so many hours in dementia care, our students will already have that curriculum developed. And when it becomes mandated, then we'll just roll right over and go into the KDAD's required certificate program. So those are the things that I want to look forward in our future growth. Of course, my ultimate dream list would be more square footage. I know our whole college is just growing and booming, and if we could have another 200 acres to build on, it would be awesome. But especially with our COVID and spacing. So I think that's an excellent problem to have, is that we don't have enough room. So does anyone have any questions? I know I went pretty fast through that. I just wanted to hit the highlights of what the program review gave to you all. But I just can't say enough that I'm very fortunate for the support that Dr. Ruda and Mark and Patsy Zeller, she's the director of nursing, that gives me, that we've been able to grow and expand at the rapid rate that we have for this program.
How many do you have in the CMA program? Certified Med Aid. You got that, right?
We do have that, yes. We offer those in this.
Your stats on that?
We're 100% pass rate on those first time. And we offer that in the spring because you have to be a certified CNA active Kansas certificate in order to take the medication aid course. So we run the CMA course in the spring so that many of the students have the opportunity to get their CNA in the fall and then can go right into the medication aid. So
how in depth is that? When they get through the CMA certification, what can they do? They can pass out certain drugs, but certain drugs they can't.
Correct.
What's the facts on that?
The medication aid is able to work in a long-term care facility and dispense certain medication levels. They're not qualified to do like IV therapy or give shots, invasive treatments into the body, but the majority of the medications that a resident in a long-term care facility would require are oral medications, and that's what a medication aid does. And then of course they do the assessments, you know, for healthcare to follow up with the medications, making sure, you know, that the patients are not having, you know, side effects, symptoms, or anything like that. And then they report to the RN and they work under an RN. Unfortunately, in Kansas right now, medication aids are only allowed to work as a med aid in a long-term care or assisted living facility.
So how does the home health aid fit in that?
Okay, home health aid, they, at that point, once they've gotten their CNA certificate, they go on to become a home health aide. And what that does is give them just that one step advanced learning that takes care of anything from infant to elderly within the home, okay? This would be a level that they've been taught to work independently, that they can work with the person in the home under the supervision of an RN. So they would not do a nursing role as, say, a person came home from the hospital and did surgery and had to have their surgical wraps replaced. A home health aide could not do that, but a home health aide could go into the home and administer basic home care, meaning that if they needed assistance with bathing, if they needed assistance with feeding, assistance dressing, what they often call your activities of daily living, that they would need assistance with, and they could do it in the home without having supervision of the nurse being right there, as the RN right there. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Okay.
Glenda, this is Marilyn. In this, with COVID restrictions at the nursing homes, I know you guys cannot be out there right now. So the state will approve all simulation hours for their required hours for passing the course.
Yes, legislation did a temporary pass that we would be able to do our simulation, our clinical hours in an approved simulation lab. And we at the college happen to be one of the approved simulation labs. So fortunately, we're able to continue on with our programs because of that lab. And the students can do everything that they need to with approved scenarios and their skills checkoff list that they have to meet. They have, the state did a temporary additional skills listing that is required that they have to pass now through simulation. Also, the state did a temporary pass that after a CNA student has 40 hours of clinical and class, they can do a temporary certificate, so to speak, and go ahead and work in a facility. And if one of our students chose to do that, then the hours that they work, their supervisor and myself can validate those hours, then we can count those as their clinical hours as well to allow them to take their state exam. So we do have two opportunities. Unfortunately, our long-term care facilities are, fortunately or unfortunately, very strict about that, and they're not likely to want to bring on a student who hasn't passed their state exam. So with that, we do use our simulation lab a great deal right now, so.
And the COVID-19 law expires January 26th.
It does. And
So hopefully we'll get another one.
Yeah, my understanding is they're working on that right now to continue that, but they're kind of waiting to see what the season, the winter season is going to be like.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions I can answer?
No, none.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenda.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Linda.
Thanks.
Okay, some good information on both the English and allied health programs and where they've been in their 5 years. Dr. Ruda, go into or I'm assuming you're going to take the lead in this, the strategic plan annual update. We've got two fairly thick packets here. One, the strategic plan report of the completed initiatives, and then the going forward, the strategic plan for 2019-2020. And I will defer to Dr. Ruda to walk us through.
Okay, we'll give just kind of an overview. A couple of things there, as Dr. Wasser had mentioned. A couple of packets that we have in front of you that I want to go over, annually as part of our strategic plan. We want to come in and just provide the board with an update of where we're at as far as the initiatives, what's been completed, what we still have current within the strategic plan. And then as I go through that, I'll also have Mark just kind of talk about steps that we have as far as continuous improvement and some of the things that he's working on with the strategic planning committee as far as how it is that we look at building momentum on the strategic plan going forward. But as far as the updates, if you will turn just to the one that says completed initiatives. Wanted to go through and just highlight. So one of the steps that we've taken this year is just to be able to start keeping a historical trend of where our strategic plan initiatives are. So the completed initiatives are everything that has been completed within the last 2 years there since we have adopted the strategic plan. But a few of the things that I did want to just go through as far as highlights from this past year on page 17, one of the positives, I guess, if there is a positive that comes from COVID, there's been some significant work that's been done from instruction and student services on the assessment side as far as moving to what's called multiple measures. So what that means is, I highlighted an old one there. Yours is on actually page 18.
No worries.
we'll be a page behind.
No wonder I couldn't find stuff.
17's on the front.
Didn't have anything on the front page.
But not everything to talk about.
That's right, 17.
So what multiple majors is, historically, at Garden City Community College, we have used a placement test in order to determine student placement into English and math courses. This placement test has been the model that we've used in order to determine whether students are going to be placed into developmental remedial courses, or if they're going to be placed into our college level courses. But there's been a tremendous amount of research in the last several years really talking about what's called multiple majors. So really what it's doing is taking a look at, instead of having one test that determines the fate of where a student's going to land on placement for college, taking a look at a collective effort, everything from their high school GPA to the courses that they've taken during high school, their ACT scores, their SAT scores. And that's where that multiple majors comes into play. And, there's been a considerable amount of conversation that we've had surrounding this as far as trying to transition or move from having the Accuplacer or the Compass as our sole placement and being able to truly go with a multiple majors. It gives us a broader picture of where it is a student should be at there as far as skill sets. So throughout COVID, because we transitioned online back in March and we weren't able to do Accuplacer testing in order to enroll students for fall, that really helped to move our conversations and preempt a lot of the conversations that needed to happen as far as moving to multiple majors. And that's exactly what we did. And I want to applaud the work of instruction, student services, and faculty and assessment on really being able to take a lot of the research that had been done and implementing it so that we're able to move along in our enrollment processes. So with that particular initiative, it was completed here over the spring 2020 and helped us be able to move the institution forward there on that particular initiative. Just kind of going forward here, so if you would then go to color 1, be on page 19, talking about, at the bottom there, talking about items 1.2.11. So again, just really taking a look at how it is that we can strengthen our processes, particularly in advising. This past year, I've spent time building modules online to where we can do advisor training online, creating an advising handbook, and being able to have ongoing training there for advisors through that there. So those were 3 other initiatives that we had that were completed this past year, very specific to enhancing processes within advising. Going over to page 20, again, just down at the bottom of page 20 talks about establishing a general education committee. This was work that was done really to start taking a look at our general education courses, the outcomes, and really how it is that we evaluate which courses should be listed on degree requirements, which courses, and how it is that we structure the gen ed core, the curriculum. And so we have not had a general ed committee that was really comprised of being able to get feedback from faculty and staff and others on campus to help shape a lot of those conversations. I've put that gen ed committee in place this past year just to help navigate a lot of our degree requirements and how we structure the general ed core on campus. If you would turn to the next page, this would be on, that'll be the last item listed on page 21. So really this is moving, when we're talking about contract trainings for local business, one area that was tremendously, some efforts were put in there tremendously to expand, was specifically with some training that has been built in partnership with Tyson. There's a program called the Upward Academy. I want to give credit to Hector Martinez for a lot of the work that he's done. The Upward Academy is, and actually we're using our mobile lab there now, out at Tyson plant to be able to offer GED, ESL, and citizenship courses. So these are courses that students, Tyson employees are taking. They're earning the credit to be able to work towards their GED, ESL, English as a second language, as well as citizenship. On the back side there, that we are also able to use those towards recognition that we get at the state level there for not only meeting criteria on enrollment, but also a lot of the funding aspects that come through the Adult Learning Center by being able to increase the number of students completing credentials on the non-credit side. So that's been a significant amount of work on the non-credit side that's happened specifically through the Adult Learning Center this past year. And I think the last, the last two that I'll draw your attention to are listed on page 25. And again, these are aspects that we've done just really strengthening institutional processes. With pillar 3 on fiscal solvency, it talks specifically about some work that has been done through the Human Resources Office. We have done, implemented a process there and really been able to have a chance to take a look at all of our job descriptions, evaluating them on an annual basis there to make sure that we have the right degree requirements in place, that we have the right aspects of what the overall job entails, and putting a lot more emphasis on making sure that we, when we do have jobs that come open, that it's not just waiting until those jobs come open, that we evaluate the job descriptions, that we are doing a much more informed process. So we've put that process in place for human resources just to be able to really increase a lot of how it is that we are reviewing jobs and making sure that we have the right specific qualifications that we're looking for there when we go through that process. And then the other process that we put into place there is really just about employee recognition. And this goes back to the NISOD organization that we have had for the last 2 years. Faculty and staff members that have been recognized as outstanding staff members nationally through NISOD. And we have implemented criteria institutionally that we use to be able to assess and measure and be able to have a respectable process there that allows us for determining who it is that's met these criteria that we can recommend for the national recognition process. So again, as we go through the strategic plan, a lot of it is just about how it is we're making continuous improvement in our processes, looking at how it is that we're advancing the institution, and that may be through new programs, that may be through non-credit, like the Adult Learning Center, or that could be simply going through and taking a look at processes as we have through human resources and staff development on that side. So this particular packet there just gives you a summation of the accomplishments again that have been completed throughout the past 2 years on the strategic plan, and allows us just to be able to have a historical perspective of truly what has been accomplished since we've been here. Anything to add on that part there, Mark?
Not specifically on the review of processes or review of initiatives. I'm happy to talk about the future if no one has any questions.
That'd be great.
Go for it.
So one of the things we're working on, two major kind of things, and this won't take very long to summarize, but Dr. Reuter mentioned the idea of building momentum on the strategic plan, and I think that that's really important. One of the roles that I played at my previous institution prior to Garden City was planning and assessment. It was a major focus of my job, and we have talked quite a bit in cabinet over the last several months about processes that will help make sure that the strategic plan is truly embedded in the work that we do, and that it has an impact from the bottom of the organization all the way to the top of the organization. So we're working on a way to kind of increase engagement and ownership across the entire institution, where individual departments will be able to kind of invent their own initiatives and record and input their own initiatives. And then they can track those over the year and provide an update toward the end of the year when we come to you all for a report. But we hope that that helps embed the strategic plan throughout the institution and really provide some ownership in the direction of the institution throughout the institution. The other thing that we're working on is the idea of the key performance indicators. So the strategic plan is designed to help steer the institution and tells us where we want the institution to go. Then we need a way of measuring how far we are from our goal. Are we improving? Are we backsliding? Those types of things. And so we're working on, the College and Strategic Planning Committee is working on brainstorming key performance indicators for every pillar and objective statement. And that will help us provide data points that we can tap into so that when we report to, when we're making internal decisions and when we report to the board, where are we? How are we doing? How far are we to our goal? So those are the two major things that we're working on in the future. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Mark, this is Marilyn. On the board's, one of the board's main goals or main charges is to create vision for you guys. And you have already created some vision with your plan here. Tell me how you guys guess or predict what the future needs are.
That seems like a question designed for a president.
And then my follow-up question is, how can we help you? How's that? It's not a trick.
No, I know, and I'm happy to answer it though. Ryan, I want to give you a chance to throw your thoughts out there, or you can direct me to go first. That's fine.
No, nice deflection, nice deflection. No, I think your question leads into really kind of part of what it is that we have as far as conversations for the board. I mean, because this is a very comprehensive, daunting manual in order for us to go through there. And like Mark said, this is really, strategic plan is the compass that we have that helps us to navigate and know what the directions are and the goals that we have to go for. But one of the things that, that I would ask the board maybe to take a look at, and not tonight because we're just presenting this to you here tonight, but the second package, is being able to take this and go and look through the pillars and the objectives and really take a look at some of the initiatives that we have laid out. But then, have that as an opportunity maybe for some engagement here next month at the board meeting to see, are there some things that maybe from the board standpoint there that you have as far as vision or ideas that maybe we need to look at incorporating into strategic plan or conversations we need to have on campus about other objectives and things for us to be looking about there, because the vision, I mean, when you're talking about vision comes from conversations that happen throughout the course of different committee meetings that happen through, state directives that come down from where funding's at. And this is going to sound wrong, but this is a moving target. Our strategic plan is something there to where we may have certain objectives listed, and within a month or 2 months down the road, we realize they're no longer applicable, and we also have to keep it flexible and adaptable to where if there are new initiatives that we see at the state level, that we can be able to bring those into the strategic plan and have them be included as part of what it is our overall vision is there as well. So this is a moving target. This is something there that's an ever-changing document. But that was one of the questions that I was going to propose to the board there, is just to be able to have a chance to digest this, look at it, bring back some feedback and bring back, some thoughts and have some conversations about things that maybe we need to be looking at or having our strategic planning committee consider for additional visioning and objectives as we go forward there as well. So I probably danced around your question. I don't know if I answered.
No, I just,
I think as a charge to the board, I think take it very serious. I think one of the, at least for myself and Leonard and Marilyn, through accreditation, one of the things, and certainly it was no surprise from our board retreat, Dr. Pamela Fisher had indicated that the more engaged the board is with, she didn't really say strategic planning, but that's basically what she was getting at, and compensating and how engaged the board is with that. That's what they're looking for. And so I really think strongly that, especially that the cabinet is asking us for input, that we take it very serious over this next month to really dive into it and to have some deep conversation next board meeting, of just maybe those, not getting in the weeds, of course, but taking some serious look at it and saying, what we look for in the future, and diving off of that. So I think it only bridges that gap between cabinet, president, and the board, and how we come off to the community and to the public, and knowing that this is what we're looking forward as forward goal, and that we're all on the same playing field, per se. So homework for everyone, I suppose.
Is there a particular pillar or objective or strategy that you guys find the most daunting or unclear future-wise of what's coming and how to prepare for that? Other than financial, I
Fiscal
mean.
solvency.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one, but again, that's why there's been, administratively, that's why there's been so much impetus and focus placed upon different partnerships, grant opportunities, entrepreneurial efforts, because there is so much of an unknown there on that fiscal side of things. So that's definitely the one that's probably the most, I'd say, concerning, and yeah.
It's gonna take some thinking out of the box. As I sat here and see all of the online stuff and everything that everybody's doing, I just keep wondering in my mind where this education is going to be 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think I can comprehend or imagine what it's going to be.
Well, you couldn't have strategically planned for COVID a year ago. I mean, that would have been definitely one of those moving targets over the last year.
But I think they have, I think unbeknownst to Garden City Community College, I think you have, been as best prepared as any university, changing things online, books, things like that. So, while we wish COVID-19 wouldn't have happened and all that, but I think this just shows having the strategic plan, and it is a moving target. But I think I applaud you guys for just making those initiatives and having that foresight of again, you got to be thinking 3 years in advance. Otherwise, you're behind the 8 ball, and so kudos to you guys. But it's never ending.
Correct.
I see this as an opportunity for us to mesh with administration and cabinet as we create our vision together.
Right.
So I wonder if we shouldn't put this as an item on our agendas from now forward to talk about, I don't know, maybe we can come up with a priority list of things to start talking about and spend some time each meeting talking about it.
I think the more apprised the board is on just the strategic planning, and like I said, while this is the strategic plan from the cabinet down down to the college, we need to be engaged with that and not necessarily picking at it and getting into the weeds, but having a sense of where they're going with and maybe that how we can help, further that. So absolutely, I agree. I think, I know we can certainly discuss with Dr. Ruda possibly, and I don't see that being a problem and putting it into the agenda as a line item, just like what we're having the board retreat review tonight, just adding something, and maybe hitting a few topics and just again, better information, keep us always thinking about that and I think it's some good information, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Let's do it.
Any questions or comments? I know it's a lot to take in and certainly, like I said, homework for everyone, but take that serious and we can discuss a little bit more. I can get with Dr. Ruda and see what, maybe we can come up with some ideas of some discussion points to have some good discussion next month. Okay. Okay, very good. Moving on to confirmation of monitoring reports. Fairly basic. Have you guys turn to page 37. The first one is it's an annual. It's work preparedness, and it's I'll just read the overview of it. But it's students will be prepared for success in the workplace. Students will have the skills and knowledge required for successful entry into the workplace. Students will have discipline and collaborative skills necessary to be successful in the workplace and have an exposure to relevant work ethics. Students will have the skills and knowledge necessary to maintain, advance, or change their employment or occupation. The CEO's interpretation there, as well as the data, is all listed out. One of those great things. I think that I personally, over the time of seeing it is, of all the stats, great on that side. It's just one of the hardest things out of those three components is the work ethic and showing up on. I think that's the hardest. I mean, we can give them the skills and we can teach them everything they need to know, and I think that employers are happy with us. It's just those life skills of showing up on time, not calling in, and doing all those things are some of the hardest things, but definitely tackling it. Anyways, there's the information there. Anyone have any concerns or disagreements on the monitoring report?
You've done a really good job on mentioning, the specific programs that are, the time clock in and out and things like that. But I think yes is the answer. But this kind of emphasis is in all of the classes, right? To be on time, to be to attend your class. And,
yeah, I mean, so the example that I would give you there is with our John Deere program. We do not use a time clock in our John Deere program. However, it's become, that is a program there that has very specific expectations. You have industry partners that have paid a significant amount of money for these students to be able to gain their education, have a place to live on campus, have a job once they're done. So while we don't have a time clock there that these students are clocking into, there are very directive outcomes there that they have to be on class on time, that they have to be on task while they're in the classroom. And kudos to Gabe and Nate, our two instructors over at John Deere, because one of the things, and Mark had asked this question, and I think it deserves to be stated here tonight. So our John Deere program is monitored on an annual basis there, as far as from the industry standards of excellence, how it is that they, as far as graduation, completion, how they're doing as a John Deere training program. Well, this past year, Garden City Community College received a gold standard. The only thing above gold standard is platinum. And, you know, Mark had asked, what's it going to take for us to get to platinum? Well, the response from Gabe and Nate was, we'll have to pass students that aren't prepared to go out into the workforce. And we're turning students away and telling their industry partners they're not going to be able to complete our program. And the industry partners support that, even though they put a significant amount of funding towards these students, because they're not coming to class, or they're not staying on task, or they're not performing academically like they need to. So, you know, the difference between gold and platinum means passing students that aren't necessarily prepared for workforce. I'll stay gold all day long.
Right.
And I think that, to me, I think that's probably the best example we can use as far as the indicators and what it is that our faculty are using that aren't necessarily measured by time clock and things of that.
Good. Any other?
The only other point that I would get just real quick there, moving on, but just this morning, we did receive, and this was handed out there at your spot. I just wanted to draw attention to it. So the Perkins funding, which funds each of our technical education programs, the legislation and funding formulas for this was changed through this past year. This was a letter that I've received by email just this morning, and I want to share with you there because it, again, I think is an indicator, and there's financial emphasis for us to be working towards as we meet those key performance indicators. So Garden City Community College this past year, just with all the new changes that have taken place within the new Perkins legislation, has exceeded the state key performance indicator in both placement and retention, as well as non-traditional student concentration. We did just miss on the credential certificate degree attainment, but with that comes, you know, again, just a financial incentive there for us to make sure that we are staying focused and staying on track with making these priorities. And so with that comes a little bit of incentive money there that can go back towards those programs to help continue with a lot of the retention work, graduation work, and non-traditional student enrollment there. So just wanted to share with you there today that the college has exceeded 2 of the 3 indicators, and we have set our indicator for this next year on 2P1, which we did not meet. We did set our indicator to where it would be above the state benchmark this next year. So.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? No?
What
All
is
good?
2P1?
2P1 is credential certificate attainment. So it is.
Oh, okay. I'm
the rate
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I knew it once and then I forgot.
No worries.
Okay, second monitoring report, and page 42, it's biannual and it's a general executive constraint number 10. This has been a bit of a debatable, or I suppose talked about one over the past couple years, but the president shall not fail to ensure a safe and healthy environment on campus. And of course, CEO's interpretation and the data presenting it. Kudos to the task at COVID-19. I would question that any other, well, certainly within the community college level, but at the university level, I still think the precautions and the tasks that GC3 has put in place is top notch and made every advance possible to predict and maintain a safe environment towards COVID-19. You know, police department, things like that obviously is on there. I think, you know, well, the information is there. I think the question at hand and the thing that has been in the past has been the idea of a smoke-free campus. And you know, based on the information that's already in the student handbooks and things like that, there is a lot of that, but we haven't had much address on it. But as far as interpretation from the CEO's standpoint, I mean, I still feel like you're addressing those needs without restricting those items that are free to individuals of age and that. Any questions or any?
I want to congratulate you on some of these other ones that's been brought up in the past, the Title IX and the sexual harassment training that's making everybody go through, and the training we provided to some of the employees and different committees that's been raised. I met with Brandy yesterday when I came up here, and she was in the hall and getting ready to go into the Title IX meeting, so she was telling me a little bit about it. So, and with the COVID-19, look, this morning, we had 2 active cases.
Correct.
That's good job.
Any questions or concerns on the information?
Good job.
Yeah. Kudos to you again with everything. Not just that, like I said, the mental side thing too. I mean, it's all encompassing, especially for students during this time, and not just students, but the whole faculty staff. So, okay. We have 3 monitoring reports, and really one's just a motion that I think we kind of was a slip up of last month, but we'll direct the first one, the workforce development, page 8 in the policy governance, and I'll go ahead and read it, and then Marilyn, if you have any, it's a pretty straightforward, not too much to dwell on, but workforce development, the policy title, and workforce development will be responsive to the community economic development employer needs. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward.
President Ruta's interpretation last time highlighted the credit and non-credit programs, the collaboration with community leaders, that they're assessing the environment by on-site visits to determine the needs of what the community need is for education. And then our tie with Finney County Economic Development Corporation also helps to meet that or find those needs. So to me, it sounds like he's doing a good job, and I don't think we need to change any
I feel like the language
terms
is
or
pretty
anything.
straightforward. Anyone have any questions about that? No. Like I said, pretty straightforward. On page 18, it's a biannual, it's a board job description. We discussed number 6. Number 6 is the board shall monitor the outcomes and professional conduct of organizations associated with GCC, i.e. GCC Endowment Association and the Bronxbuster Athletic Association, BAA. Again, that was something that we just put in pretty recently, and the language, I don't see a reason to change the language. I think it's pretty encompassing, but and anybody have any questions with the wording?
The purpose was to connect us by having a representative on those boards, and just to monitor if there was any worries or concerns. And our 2 representatives did a good job of speaking to that. So do you guys have anything that you want to add?
I know they give me an opportunity to tell what's going on with us, so they're learning also.
Photothon's going on. If you would like to help, feel free to contact Barb and Jeremy.
No, I think, like I said, pretty straightforward and good. And the last one, we had talked about it last time. We changed the wordage on it. So I'll go ahead and read that. It's number 7. It's the president shall not allow for purchases between $10,000 and $50,000 without first giving consideration to local, which is Finney County businesses, with a maximum of 10% premium. But we had included basically for the block grants, purchases directed by grant funds. This is what was added. Purchases directed by grant funds are excluded. This basically because some of the grants have ties to, we can't give preference to one or the other. And of course, we had discussed it last time. I think everybody was in agreement, but we never made a motion on it. And obviously, it's a policy, so we'd have to make a motion to include that language, that purchases directed by grant funds are excluded. If there's any further discussion that anyone wants to make or is not happy with that, but otherwise, I would entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to add the language purchases directed by grant funds are excluded.
Mr. David, I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to add the to number 7 of the general executive constraints. The purchases directed by grant funds are excluded from that that purchase of $10,000 to $50,000 without giving first local Finney County businesses a 10% premium. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same side. And this, we'll do a roll call. This is Blake, aye.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye.
Beth, aye.
David, aye.
Leonard, aye.
Okay, great. So we'll go into item 5, other. And we don't have any other comments other than I will say that Aaron Kachar had emailed us all. So just recognizing that since he wasn't going to be in attendance via Zoom tonight as he reported. So we'll go ahead and go right into the president's report. Dr. Ruda?
All right. A few updates. Last week, the college was approved for a $100,000 grant request through the Kansas Department of Commerce that will go towards improving food security and safety in this region. The focus of the funding for this particular grant is going to go towards the purchase of a new refrigerated truck for the meat science program that allows for safe delivery of meat products to local retailers. And then there are also several other ancillary pieces of equipment for the meat science program just to help increase capacity, getting the products out into the retailer's hands. And then as part of this project, there also, we did ask for an upright freezer that would be part of the campus closet on campus there, which is for students, so that we were able to have frozen food that's available for students to be able to have available for them as well. So that grant must have all expenses incurred and equipment received by December 31st. So it's going to be fast and furious to be able to get those things completed. But we have wheels in motion on that one, literally for the new refrigerated truck. Several other grants that we're working on there as far as the 2 federal grants. One federal grant, which is the institutional resilience to be able to help expand dual credit opportunities, is due the end of this week. So we're finalizing that particular grant and we'll have that sent off within the week. And then just this morning, hot off the press there, I am very pleased to be able to announce that we did receive an award of $235,000 from the Kansas Department of Commerce as well. Leonard, you were talking about, I don't know where education is going to be in the future. Well, this specific grant is going to help address some of that. This particular grant is going to go towards purchasing 4 virtual welding simulators. And those virtual welding simulators will be ones that we locate and trade around between each of our high school service area schools that allows them, if they do not have a qualified faculty member or they do not have a welding facility there at their high school, these welding simulators will allow them to be able to enroll in classes, be able to work toward certifications in TIG, and MIG, and actually gets them the hands-on simulation of actually welding. They hold a welder and doing it on the computer screen, gives them real-time feedback on how it is that they're doing. But this will be a tremendous addition to our welding program. We also have plans to be able to take this out to some of our industry partners. Several of the feedlots have asked for being able to have these out to do some hands-on training as well. So we'll have that that grant that we were awarded today, and again, that's one that has to have equipment in hand by December 31st as well. So we'll be working quickly on that end.
Dr. Ruda, not to interrupt you, but I've heard, is there any validity to the chances that that's getting extended? You know, that some of that timeline for December 31st is, I mean, it's fast approaching for some of that spark money and different grants. Have you heard anything about extending that into like 2021? No, not
take legislative action.
Okay. Don't see it.
Don't see it happening. Okay. No, there's been a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't see that happen.
Okay.
I think the one thing that we do have, you know, some confirmation on there is that there happens to be a supply chain issue there where we're not able to have that equipment in hand. We'll work through the Department of Commerce and kind of provide that information to them on a supply chain issue.
My biggest concern, not to interrupt you, but my biggest concern is not our college, but wasteful spending because you have to spend it by December 31st versus strategic spending of something that maybe is necessary. And I like I said, I think, but I understand we got deadlines and yeah, so, okay.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
And you're planning to use our current instructors to operate those?
Well, yes.
They're busy.
So actually, these welding simulators come with online modules that come with online instruction. Our faculty can go in there and be able to add voiceovers. They can add additional things that they want to be able to have or focus on. But you know, a lot of these come with pre-packaged simulators that can be able to ready to go out there.
So it's like self-teach.
Interesting to see. I want to see it when it gets here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we've just seen the demonstration online as far as what the capabilities of all of it. I mean, it's tremendous as far as what we've seen online and a lot of what we have as far as abilities for expanding dual credit and
how many units? How many of these buy for the?
We'll be buying 4. Okay. Yeah. So our plan is to retain 1 here on campus to use for workforce development trainings, and then we'll have 3 to rotate among high schools.
Sweet.
Just a couple other updates here then as well. The cohort default rate, each year our financial aid office receives notification from the U.S. Department of Ed on where our default rate is, which is the number of loan borrowers versus those that have gone into non-payment. Anytime that your percentage gets above a 15% threshold, then you begin to start having some very specific sanctions, consequences, and actions that are taken against the institution there in order to rectify that high percentage. This year, we received this last week there that Garden City's rate for this past year is at 7.4%, which is down from 7.5% last year. So again, just kudos to financial aid office, advisors, coaches, and staff that work to be able to connect with students and make sure they don't go into default on their student loans at this stage.
When they go into default, who tries to collect those after that?
When they do go into default?
They're in default.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Department of Ed?
No, I mean.
Department of Ed.
Yeah, once it goes into default, it's kind of out of our hands. We have some different agencies that we partner with and actually commission to help be able to rectify the students before it's defaulted. I'm
So
not
we
really-
communicate after that with somebody that's going to try and get them to pay it.
We do before,
Right.
when they get in danger of going, we contact, or I don't know now, but we used to just contact the heck out of them every chance we had.
And that's what we
But
still
once
do.
it's out of our hands, it goes to the feds.
You probably have to do some skip tracing in that, don't you?
Well, there's a lot of, trying to find some, unique ways of getting a hold of these students.
Yeah.
Cell phones don't
Understand.
necessarily work, a lot of social media. Just a couple other updates. The BAA golf tournament from this past weekend was a very good success. Just want to commend Greg and the athletic department and BAA board for the work that they did. Had 36 teams, so it was full. Initial count as of this morning was that the golf tournament had brought in around 22,000. That's before we pay some of the final bills, but did a great job of having some silent auction, live auction items to be able to work towards raising money for scholarships. So that's the largest golf tournament earnings that we've had in my memory, as far as what it is what it was able to bring in. So great work on that. And then just a kind of a date and a reminder, we will have the grand opening of the new Bronchbuster Wellness Center this week. We do have all the equipment in place. So this Friday, we will have the public open house that will be
11:30 to 12:30.
11:30.
Ribbon cutting at 11:30.
If any of you want to come out and showcase how to use the equipment, but it'll be something. We're actually doing a open house on campus for students and employees on Thursday, just to be able to give them a chance to see that, and it will be open free of charge for students and employees, and then also have some plans for some other community groups to be able to open that up as well. So, and then last two things, just as kind of some things, and Dr. Washington, we can talk about these afterwards if we prefer to. Yesterday received notice from Higher Learning Commission that they are wanting to start setting the dates for visits going to 2022-23, which is when our next visit will be. And they want to begin starting to set those dates. So we have identified 3 dates in 2023 that I would like to run by. You should be there, but we can do that at the end. My calendar didn't quite go out that far, but we can run those dates by you and see if there's any conflicts. And then the last thing, again, at the end we can talk about is, I would request the board if we could have a special board meeting next week. There will be 3 different items that we have from these grants that we over 50,000 that we need to present for action.
Yep. Talk about. Yep. Very good. Thanks, Dr. Ruda. Incidental information, page 47, as always, supplied by various departments around the campus. Anyone have any information on or would like to speak on about the incidental information that's in the packet? Like I said, good information, good reading material, lots of things going on campus, always active. So kudos to everyone that's keeping the campus safe and healthy and clean, and it always looks so nice around campus. Really do a great job. Finney County Economic Development.
They're pushing childcare real heavy. They're getting requests for the roadmap that they've had for developing that facility on 3rd Street. So while they're talking to these different counties, they're also talking about our classes. And Verical's groundbreaking is October 22nd at 11 a.m.
Who's this? What is that?
Empirical.
That's one of our industrial maintenance programs is around.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little behind schedule, but glad it's happening.
A lot of it is because one of the main people is out of nation, and because of COVID, he couldn't get back in.
Yeah. Glad it's happening.
Yeah. And it's a Jenny Barker 50.
Yeah.
They've taken all the propellers and everything off the lot.
Yep.
About it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dave. Report from KCCT, Beth.
The next meeting is scheduled in December. I think it's supposed to be December 5th. Is that right? At 8 o'clock, Fort Scott is hosting a Zoom meeting.
Okay. Well, we'll give a couple months to get a report back from you. And my understanding is we do have SGA.
We do.
We do.
Tonight?
Ms. Taryn Tabor, who is our new SGA president, I believe is on the line.
Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Taryn Tabor, and I am honored to be the president of SGA. I do have some of my officers here if they want to introduce themselves.
Taryn, are you able to put video on it all there or not?
Let me see.
No worries, but
There
you
you are. Hello. So some of my officers are here. I don't know if they're able to speak or not, but thank you for having us and stuff. So just to give you guys an update, since the election and everything, we have had 2 meetings, one with just the officers, and this past week we did have a Zoom meeting with some of the clubs. The clubs that showed up through this meeting was Art, GC3 Media, and Halo. So what's going on with Art is they did finish their mural this weekend, and that is on Fulton Street. If you guys want to go check that out, they did a really good job. They are working on their Day of the Dead shirts, so they designed their own shirts, and then they are going to sell them. They do not have a set date yet, so... And then with GC3 Media, they are working on their podcast and a video for expiration date. And then they are also working on their magazine. And for Halo, they have a few things planned this month. I know that this upcoming Monday that they have a Zumba. So they will have someone host that, and they can either do it on Zoom or in the quad. They also have a decorating contest where each club will get their own door and they will decorate the door. They haven't figured out all the details yet, but that is some of their ideas. And then we are actually teaming up with Halo to run a pumpkin contest. So 2 contests will be being held, which will be carving and painting. So the 23rd, students will register by 3:30, and we will have 25 spots. The 26th, from 1 to 7, students will have the opportunity to pick up their pumpkin and decorate their pumpkin in front of the library. After 7 o'clock, the students will place their pumpkin outside the library by the bricks, and then until the 28th at 11:30, students around campus will get the opportunity to vote on which pumpkin they like, and then the winner will be announced at 4 on the 28th. So that is just some of the things that are going around the campus. So does anybody have any questions?
Nice to see you. Congratulations on your on your election.
Thank you very much. It was nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
do you have some of the other officers that you wanted to introduce or?
I thought they were here, but I don't
Okay.
see pictures.
They
No
abandoned
worries.
you.
No worries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
They may have been just not promoted.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
It looks like some student names. Taryn, if you have names, we may be able to promote them. Andrew may be able to promote them.
Okay, so we have my advisor, Ms. Hands, and then Michaela. And
Is Ernesto one?
yes.
That our meeting was too long. They got
Yeah, they got, they fell asleep.
homework to do.
And Deborah.
Catch them next month.
Yep, we'll catch them. Maybe ask them to be there for, oh, there's Melanie.
Oh, there's
Yeah, we have
Deborah.
Deborah.
There,
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for having us.
All right, thanks, Terry.
Okay. Then we'll go ahead and get the report from Faculty Senate. Further on. Perhaps.
Looks like she's on her way.
All right.
There she is.
Hi, Pearl.
Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. So for Faculty Senate, I just have a few stuff. We're still working on finishing some policy. We finished the survey administration policy, and that got sent to curriculum and instruction. So that one's done from our part. We are getting very close to finishing that appeals policy I mentioned in our last meeting. There's just a little bit of tweaking on some wording, but it is mainly unified as a big appeals policy. So we're very happy about our product. We just had to finish it. I think it should be done by our next meeting. We also worked on updating our bylaws. So there was some addition as to how alternate gets chosen and what the alternate can and cannot do. So those things got cleared up. They will be sent out to faculty soon and hopefully approved on our next meeting. Then we also talked about committee tracking, just making sure that we know what faculty is in which committees and making sure that we have that divided evenly and everybody is doing their fair share. We talked about some faculty burnout just because of how things are right now, and everybody's job has gotten a little bit harder, a little bit more intricate, and so we tried to brainstorm some ideas as to how to address that a little bit because we are feeling it in every department. So we wanted to see if anybody had good ideas to share with each other. And then finally, there was some advising questions that were brought up by other faculty, and we weren't able to answer those. So we are hoping that for our next Faculty Senate meeting, we can have some advising representation as well as maybe financial aid to kind of answer some questions. So that's just kind of what's coming up in the future. And that's really about it. We try to keep it pretty short, but even though there was a small number of points, each one of those points did take up a long conversation. So we did have a long meeting as well. Any questions on our report?
No.
Is there anything that we can do for you guys?
Again, if you've got any ideas to help with that faculty burnout issue, that would be great. In my personal experience, I keep telling everybody that communication and honesty has helped out a lot. I know that in my classroom, I am completely honest with my students and I tell them, hey, this is due this week, and then they turn in their stuff, and if I can't get it back to you the next day, they know why. I'm very transparent as to what my schedule looks like and what I have going on, and so that has helped because they're very, very understanding. And in the same way, when they communicate with me and they're honest with me, I can help them out and I'm understanding. So that kind of has helped me and kept me from going crazy, and that's kind of my idea that I shared with my other faculty. So if you guys have any ideas that can help with the faculty burnout, that would be great. But other than that, I don't know that there's anything specifically that we could ask, but thank you so much for asking.
Massages every week. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Perla.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
It's tough.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Ruda and I had discussed, we wanted to go ahead and put this chance for the Board of Trustees retreat review. There's a couple handouts and really just going to take some time to dive into the goals and maybe see what we can do. But real quick, and I will want to send it out. I don't know if everyone does get the trustee quarterly. I just got the, I didn't even talk to Dr. Ruda, but I think I just got it today, the fall issue of the trustee quarterly. And surprisingly enough, the front topic is diversity, equality, and inclusion. So one of the knowledge of what we're trying to look at in the achievement gap, but there's some great information on the quarterly. It's making a good community college trustee, what community college governing boards can do with COVID-19. And that was actually by Pamela Fisher, who organized our retreat. So she has some information there, but I don't know if everyone gets it or not.
We got them tonight in our
Perfect.
package.
There you go.
Did Marilyn and Leonard get theirs in the mail? I have extras.
I don't. Didn't get my
You did
mail
not-
yet
You
today.
didn't get one in the mail. This is-
I haven't got one in the mail yet. I think I get mine online, but again, great resource. So I guess I don't have to send it out by email. So you guys can look over that. But two pieces of information we had requested. I drove Pamela back over to Dodge City and we got a chance to talk, and Dr. Ruda and I had discussed possibly using, and certainly as a board discussion, but using Pamela in the future. I personally felt like she led the retreat very well and dove into some topics that not always pleasant, but also bringing forth, and also gave us some direction. But anyways, the ACCT, of course, is there to help us in many ways, but this is just an option that we have, of course, on the hourly rate. These are more for consulting virtually. If Dr. Ruda needs some help or implementing something, or maybe we need some guidance from ACCT, that's an hourly rate and used quarterly or however, as well as some additional services down there. You can see a follow-up board training. I suggested to Ryan that, or Dr. Ruda, that keeping somewhat of a consistency with the ACCT, I think would be in benefit of the board. Obviously, that's the board's discussion and can be talked about. But as a follow-up retreat, obviously there's some expense to that, but just traveling to ACCT is costly in itself. The conference is costly, the travel, everything involved with it, and with this, it's the availability of all of us, more personalized to what we may need as a board. But some of the other ones, the established evaluation process, the self-assessment process, they included that, and that's something for us to discuss. Obviously, a bit of an expense letting them do all the legwork, but I don't know that that's necessarily something it's just basically more information. If anybody has any suggestions, or if they didn't think Pamela was good or not, I didn't get to see all the self-assessments or anything, but that's for our information. The board, the other piece of information there is the Board of Trustees retreat goals. These were what we kind of looked at the very end, and my thought, at least tonight, was having a little bit more discussion, particularly on item number 1, and we can really dive into this of what we want to maybe tackle or and charge maybe each board member a part of it to help start working together with trying to get some of these goals accomplished. My thought, at least, and certainly is open for discussion, but the things that I look at the most, so creating the trustee handbook, I will say that that is, as Pamela said, that's kind of an encompassing of everything. I know Amy has taken charge as far as getting information together from other boards and other community colleges and kind of getting the basics. And I think that'll come together. I think that's a little further down the line, in my opinion, but we can certainly look at that. The knowledge and diversity of equality and inclusion, the gap, again, something that is ongoing. as well as accreditation. I think as we get closer and closer, we keep getting a prize to that, but certainly want to be involved with that. But and the number one topic, a couple different things that I had thoughts and would like your guys' input, but the code of ethics review as far as the board, I had talked to Dr. Ruda that establishing something like that possibly in January with our attorney and having that set in place would be a good time, just because as new board members come on, they come in on January. It's a good chance for them to be apprised of it. And as a yearly update from our attorney and anything that might be apprised, that I feel like that may be a good time to mesh, but we can certainly talk about that. As far as more pressing, and I think more of those areas, is developing the board self-assessment, because we as a board really need to be on target with ourselves and doing the assessment, but also the president's evaluation. I look at those two things as, and certainly the other ones are important too, but I think those two are more pressing in making sure that we have a good fix on those, because one, it's assessing ourselves, but not only that is really assessing Dr. Ruda and how we want to go about that. So I'm open for discussion. Again, there's other points I think we can tackle, but your thoughts or opinions and how you want to go about that, and whether we want to charge a few board members to kind of get together and kind of work together and bring something back to the board, but have this opportunity to maybe discuss a little bit of what you want to do in regards to some of these goals, or if you feel like some of the goals are not needed at this time.
I think we could probably have another work session like we had to develop some of those more.
Do we want to divvy some of it out so everybody brings some research to the table before we get back together the next time? And do a work session like you were discussing?
I think both valid points. I think a work session, and that's something we discussed, having a work session every quarter or something like that. I mean, that's something, but having some grit and some knowledge of what we want to do, instead of going in there just kind of blindsided and using a whole day just to come up with something. I think,
everybody have their area of research and kind of say, this is what I learned.
Or even, like I said, even pairs, board members working together and just kind of, bouncing off ideas and then coming together, and we got 3 teams this way. There doesn't have to be any worrisome of getting more board members together and things like that. But this is the legwork from the board, I think, that we really need to tackle, and I think this is ultimately going to bring, as we talked about in the retreat, the board closer together as what we call the board right now, not worrying about anything else but the current board and going forward. So
can we, I like your idea. I would like us to just pick 2 or 3 at most topics, so that we don't get spread out too thin, and really can concentrate on those topics and complete them
100% before we move on to the.
Does anybody have maybe a particular area that they feel that most pressing?
You already mentioned the president's evaluation.
Yeah.
So
like I said, my
board assessment
and president evaluation, I feel like are probably most pressing, just because, like I said, that's
we'll be going through that in the
Well,
future.
Exactly.
Those assessments might guide where we need to go next based on the results of any of those assessments too.
I mean, again, I don't want to, the code of ethics I think is important, but I think that's a pretty easy date setting in January, and some of these other things are a little bit more encompassing. Like I said, I don't want to speak for the board, but I certainly think A and C should be probably top of the list in my opinion. Maybe the other ones we tackle as we get a better understanding of it. I mean, those 2 are in itself pretty daunting. I mean, one, I think if we could tackle those by the end, even get a good grip on it by the end of the year, I think we should applaud ourselves and be in good shape. But
Is the policy and process for self-assessment part of the accreditation?
Yes, so accreditation is looking at board self-assessment, absolutely, okay. Yes, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
Yep.
I got several books when I came on the board that Carver had put out, and I was going through one of them tonight prior to coming down here, and I ran across a section in there about board self-assessment. I didn't get into it, but there may well be something in that book, if I can remember which one it was, that would maybe give us some more insight into what we're talking about as far as self-assessment. You can go home and dig that out.
Yeah, there's those books, and as well as that, the book that we got, the green book. I don't know if I have it, but and that's kind of it's based off of anyways, there's a self-assessment
on target,
yeah, for a board member. There's a section of self-assessment.
But I think Pam mentioned that ACCT has.
I think we could do a search and pull some information together. My thing is I'm just tasked to the idea of, do we want to do this? Does everyone, like Shanda said, everyone want to gather some information on their own time? And you know, we can set a date, you know, maybe December or something like that. Looking forward to that and bringing it all together, giving you some time, reminding each board member meeting to do that. Or do we want to try to work buddy up or something like that? I don't care. I just want to make sure that everyone is getting their input into this, and really the meat of the conversation is going to be at that workshop. But again, I think the most important thing is going into that workshop with, hey, we've got all this information. Let's try to hone down on that. So I don't care however we want to do it, but this is that homework that I think.
Well, I think individually would probably be the easiest with schedules and stuff. I mean, some of us don't work.
And I you know, don't be afraid to bounce off. You know, if you need to converse with a phone call or an email, or if you feel like you're not quite sure, send it to Amy or send it to myself, and then I can send it out to individual. You know, so you know, again, we're not asking for decisions or anything, but if you find a good piece of information, that's where we can kind of come together, and then I can send it out, or vice versa, and we can get that information out, or, you know, bring it to the next board meeting, have copies, or ask Amy, we can get copies, and just so people can constantly be looking at it. I think, I mean, it can be overwhelming, but
I'll be more comfortable doing my own research at the beginning.
I mean, that's fine. Like I said, when we get into the workshop, I mean, again, if you have questions or things, by all means. So do we want to try, I mean, I guess my other question is are we going to try to tackle on both of those at the same time? I mean, we can. Okay.
I think we can start by just gathering information and seeing how big it is.
Yeah.
And if it's.
And then when we get together,
Yeah.
decide from there, do we have enough information to tackle both, or one today, or gain some ground on each?
Again, I think ACCT is a great source, and my other question is how comfortable do you feel possibly using PAM or ACCT as this, if we need to implement something? You know, there is money in the board to do things like this, and again, does anybody have a problem with some of these? I mean, the fees are what they are. I mean, they just are. Obviously, they wouldn't be misused or anything. But we had talked, even Dr. Ruda and I said, you know, if we do have that workshop, we can Zoom in Pam for an hour and maybe gear us into some of this and network us into maybe some of this, and then and use her for an hour. Well, you know, $250 is quite a bit of savings versus $4,000 to bring her on campus, especially if we're honing in on something. So my question is do we want to continue to utilize something like ACCT and PAM for that information? Does anybody have a problem with that?
Don't have a problem with it. I mean, Pam knows us.
Yeah. Well, and creating a report.
Well,
yeah.
I don't want to go to the expense of bringing her in.
Well, no, I mean, as far as bringing her in ever again?
4,000.
Not saying, not for each workshop by any means. Like they said, absolutely. I mean, this is more for.
I kind of like the idea of having her come once a year.
Well, I think it's a discussion that I think in a yearly annual visit, there's stuff that can be done online over Zoom. And then, as she even said, there's things that needed to be taken care of in person. It just, there's a whole different vibe when you can do something in person versus what you can do online. Not having them, and she even put that follow-up board exam in the fall of 2021. I mean, I think, you know, and that's further discussion. It's not like we're committed to it, but it's something.
So even if we Zoom her in, all of us being together in a room at bare minimum would be.
Yeah.
Didn't I hear that Amy's getting handbooks from other colleges on the trustee handbook?
I did receive
I would like to see what they can have some things in there about board assessment and things like that.
Yeah. Well, that's a good start. I mean,
I would
absolutely.
like to see those before I do a little of my own research in the meantime.
Yeah, we don't have to reinvent the wheel by any means.
I was gonna suggest too, maybe we should reach out to Pam first and have her help us. She could, I'm guessing she's done this with other boards. She can direct us.
I think
as
so.
to what
In
to
fact,
look up and what to do.
I got an email from her yesterday or today. She was just following up with Dr. Ruda and myself, and just if we have any questions. I hadn't responded just because we hadn't had a board board meeting, but something that either Dr. Ruda and myself can follow up with her and discuss a little bit. She has been great about, hey, whatever it takes, you know, to get you guys where you feel comfortable and everything. I think she's a great asset. And again, creating a rapport with an individual that knows our college, knows our situation, knows everything that we've gone to. You don't want to just kind of throw that to the side and just pick somebody else new or anything like that. But I feel strongly that we can tackle those two goals. And I think those are pressing goals that really that create the stronger board. And like I said, all these other things I think will come with it. It's just, it's got to kind of build the foundation. Does that work for everyone? Is everyone okay with that? Yep.
So I recommend that we ask her first.
Okay, we can kind of see. I can follow up with her.
Yeah, I'll have you, if you guys want to do that, and then if you want to include her first at a meeting, and then we get directed on what to look up and what to research.
And I can get back to you guys after I follow up with her. But in thinking of that, November is coming on strong, and with that, probably it's a little far out, but probably look at sometime in December. Hopefully we can find a time that maybe we can do a workshop again, just even a day's workshop, you know, an afternoon or a morning, you know, and really hone in on some of this. But I'll keep everyone apprised, and if there's any information that you do gather in, or if you think, like I said, either Amy, myself, whoever, we can get it out to everyone, or bring it to the board, whatever, just so you guys are thinking about that and how you want to look at that. But pass that along. So, okay, very good. So, ownership linkage, anyone, public here?
I've had a lot of comments from those that got their and the past that we mailed out to the senior citizen. Positive comments, like we didn't even ask for it. I was at the golf tournament. It was a great opportunity to move around and just visit with a lot of people out there and get their feelings about what's going on. you know, and I'm maybe a little critical, and I know everybody has their own schedules. But the trustees that did not make that missed a great opportunity to be out there and representing the college and building it up to the people in the community. I think that's very important. I don't understand one thing. I thought with these senior citizen passes, I thought we were going to put them on a lifetime basis. And there I see they're for a year at a time. Why are we not putting them on a lifetime basis? 457 does.
And we used to until it got stopped.
We did. I mean, I think a couple of things. One, it's an opportunity for us to engage and be able to have some updates or some additional information that can go out on an annual basis. We collect that information from them as far as their mailing address. You know, up until this year, we had them coming in to the office to pick them up there just so that we could have a chance to visit, engage with them there face to face. But with COVID and everything, we've gone just to mailing them. I don't know that I'm opposed to lifetime there. I think that with the annual passes there, what it does is it gives us a chance to print information on the cards and have a chance to be able to, my personal feeling there, be able to have a chance there to get something in the mail. We're going to send along with the newsletter there to get some information on the college. You know, if we did it on an annual basis, I think we're missing an opportunity to engage with them there on a little bit more of a frequent basis.
You could sell on an annual basis, send out a newsletter without having to give them a new lifetime pass. You accomplish the same thing with a newsletter.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not opposed to how we do it there. It was just
the reality of a lot of that is these folks don't use those a lot. It's just the fact that they've got them, and it's a bragging thing for them.
Right.
Well, to that token, maybe it is a good thing that they
Every year.
get it in the mailbox every year going, we still like you.
Yeah. Well,
We
and
just like you one
sometimes you
day.
get that lifetime thing and then you hear nothing more about it and or you lose it or you you forget about it, but every year you get it in and say, oh yeah, I am still, and it's just I think either way, and I think that's the college decision and the president's decision more so, but I mean, I think, you know, getting that every year or that piece of information, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong either way. I mean, it's not like you're cutting them off.
Somebody doesn't get one, who's gonna stand up and say, oh, we forgot you?
I will.
I don't want you to have to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't want them to say, oh, they don't care about me anymore.
It is easier tracking if we do it year by year.
Yeah.
I think it's just another touch point.
Yeah.
For,
I called each and every one of them this year, and there was a lot, and I spoke with over 80% of them. They just like to hear from us. I let them know that on their card when I sent it, that they were going to be able to have the Bronchbuster Fitness Center on it this year, so.
But I also get the comparison from some of them. Well, it's an annual deal. 457 gives it to us for a lifetime.
Yeah, but it's a little embarrassing if you keep sending back to that dead person. This way we can keep track, I think.
I think there's a perception of not trusting the college yet because it was stopped for a while. So that's where they're speaking from. Maybe the second year when they get it, they'll go, oh, okay, this is cool.
And like I said, I think either way, you're splitting hairs either way.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and then that's a chance for Amy to say, no, we renew it every year. It's lifetime, but it's every year, so we can keep in contact with you. It's just communication. I think that's and you know,
You have a lifetime subscription to this card. We will replace it annually for you in case you lose it.
Yeah.
Then maybe we put it lifetime. We can specify that it's lifetime, but every year we'll update it so you guys can still have your touch point. I don't know.
Well, there's differences in USD 457 too, age difference.
What?
For USD 457, you have to be 65 to get it.
Well, I just, it doesn't change the fact that it's a lifetime. It is
I
like.
like that.
What's USD 457? I'm 65 and I've never gotten anything.
Well,
from
you have
it.
to go up there and prove that you're
You'll get it
over
the first time
65.
it comes to you, it's a lifetime.
All this time I've been missing out. Gee.
Anybody?
Not old enough yet.
Any other ownership linkage?
I want to say congratulations with another partnership there with the DPS and the sheriff's office getting that new car. Well, not new, but better than the 2001 and 1999 that they have.
Had several thank yous by the faculty and staff for their cards to.
Patrick Dugan,
Yeah.
scooters.
Well, how much of a card is that?
It was
$10,
$5 to both businesses, $5 to scooters.
Scooters
$5 to
and Patrick
Patrick
Dugan's.
Dugan's.
Something they didn't have and they appreciate it.
Cool things.
Yep. Anything else? Before we go, we do have an executive session tonight. But I do want to go over, just run through some more or less the dates, upcoming calendar dates, of course. Really touching November 10th is next Board of Trustees meeting. We've got the mixed media at the Mercer Gallery, the 23rd through the November 20th. And this next week, all employee meeting. But Thanksgiving break, the 23rd through the 29th, this campus is closed. And of course, that's final exams is over December 7th through the 10th. But that's all going to be virtually, that's all going to be online. Is that right? After campus, after Thanksgiving. The December 8th Board of Trustees meeting, and then when campus is closed for Christmas break, December 19th through January 3rd. And to that, and Dr. Ruda had alluded, we do want to set up a special meeting, and hopefully we can come together on one or the other dates. For next week, because of the importance of getting these purchases from these grants, the purchase of the refrigeration truck for Meat Science and the access control system for all the buildings, we really just need to go through, it's a long process, but again, it's through grant money and we need to approve it. We're looking at either Wednesday or Thursday of next week at 7 a.m. This should not conflict with most people's work schedules.
I'm wearing my pajamas.
You can zoom in probably. I'm sure there's a way we can zoom in, but they shouldn't take very long. Obviously, you can have some discussion, but they will be back-to-back special board meetings, individual special board meetings. Is there a preference? Anybody have any conflicts that they see right now?
At 7 o'clock.
Oh, the welding simulator. So there'll be actually 3. Okay, yep, 3. So anyone have any? Shall we just say Thursday or Wednesday? Give you one more day.
Thursday would work well.
What's that?
Thursday would work.
Thursday?
Thursday, the 22nd.
Thursday, the 21st.
No,
Oh, well, I have it on here.
Wednesday's the 21st.
Okay. So the 22nd at 7 a.m. Right here.
Right here.
Okay. And those will be available Zoom for individuals of the community. Appreciate you guys coming together on that one. Bronxbuster Fitness Center this Friday. Anyone that can attend, highly suggested, 11:30 to 12:30. And then ACCT Leadership Congress was all online. And I think Amy maybe sent out something, but GCCC did purchase the registration and is receiving recorded sessions. So any of the Board of Trustees can review those, or I'm sure contact Amy and get links for that. So again, maybe a resource of something, but
They're only good through December.
yeah, so
After that, you can't watch them.
so if you want a schedule of things, talk to Amy and get you some links. But again, another conference that usually costs quite a bit of money, and having access to all those videos for the whole board, definitely can take advantage of it and be at a cost savings. So those are the only 3 points that I really wanted to make, and I just wanted to make sure that we got that meeting set for next, Thursday. But
run through the dates real quick on the higher learning question.
yeah, go ahead.
Not that anybody's, again, calendar goes out to 2023.
Yeah.
But the 3 dates that they have proposed, I just want to verify, see if there is any objection or conflicts. February 6th, February 20th, or February 27th of 2023.
Nope. I can't say that.
Again, this is just
A
for
race
us.
schedule.
Yeah.
This is just our standard on-site visit. So
Is there a preference to you guys? I mean, first of the month, end of the month?
At this point.
February, yeah. Probably towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah, give us a little bit of chance to get into the spring semester.
Okay. Well, I think for right now, I mean, unless somebody has any pressing, go the 20th or 27th, whatever you guys can.
I'll forget tomorrow.
Well, we'll communicate with them, and then once we get it set.
Okay.
We'll send out reminders for the next 2.5 years.
It's over President's Day, does that matter? Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't matter to me, but.
We'll see what they say. We will be having an executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board recess into executive session to discuss an individual employee's performance pursuant to non-elected personnel exception under COMA, and that the open meeting will resume in the conference room in 15 minutes. President Ruda included, anybody else?
Just the board.
And the board. Thank you.
I have a motion for executive session, and Beth seconds. All those in favor to go into executive session for 15 minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll do a roll call real quick. Just Blake, aye.
Shanda, aye.
Marilyn, aye.
Beth, I.
Dave, aye.
Leonard,
All right.
8:33?
It is 8:33 with 15 minutes. Yep. Give you guys a chance if you need to.
Oh,
We'll go over to
You'll
the
go.
office.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nobody was moving over. Am I the only one leaving?
Oh, I'm not sure I can get up.
Did you get out?
Yeah.
I wonder how they did that, sealing that bag thing.
I'm not real sure.
I haven't, the heating thing, I think, no, I wonder if that's something new that they got. Pretty cool, yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's like, oh, my stomach was kind of growing. Maybe I'll have
Salad, some black seeds in there.
Never, I'm hungry, or we usually go eat after the cabinet, so it was like, I'm not hungry, you know, because I eat more than I normally would when we go to Thai place.
What's the third thing for next week? Building simulators, refrigeration. What's the third one?
Access control.
Who's whistling?
How's it going?
Good.
Hey Carla, I was gonna ask you, we gonna get pump machines back in JCVT?
I didn't know they were gone.
Yeah, they took them out, they said they were gonna replace them with something new, but that was like way back before school started.
I'll call them tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I don't know if they forgot or what.
I will give them a shout. Yeah. No, it's not, it's off now. Is it? Oh, yeah. Well, now it's muted. Did he turn it on? Did I see that your son was here?
Yeah, he was one of them. Those last weekend, or just for the week, or?
Nope, he just came in Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, yeah, it was fine.
Wanted to see Sophie, so.
Is that the one that lives with the home?
Yes, thank goodness. Somebody to keep an eye on it.
Mhm. Brian was hot, he turned it in.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, our office is 60s.
Okay, great day.
Huh?
It is not off.
It's not?
No.
Can you hear me?
No, I was talking to Andrew, I asked him.
Oh, that's you.
It's me.
Oh, okay.
Well, here we are. It was a big dinner. What's the deal? They ordered it out. In different bags.
They have a new system. Those heat sealers you can buy for home. You can seal
Oh.
stuff.
Oh. Well, it was nice.
But no, she made it. She told me what she did.
It was a big dinner. Dessert was delicious.
It was good. Sure does look good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Tasty.
What they have for lunch over there today?
Big salad. You can check the calf menu on your app now.
Where's that on the
So it's I call it the tile page, but it's you go to this one
This one?
You have a little Greek thing and then scroll down. Away. There, dining. Click on that, and then there's menu. And it's a little wonky, we could probably do it better, but it's right there. That's what it's just the lunch menu. But they advertise so. Tomorrow? It doesn't work.
Tomorrow's pasta batter.
That'll be good, a little something. 40 pounds of them. It's really hard because they have to tell them, like, no, just one.
What was the observation on feeding in the cow?
Definitely feels different.
Rather than the prison.
Yeah. It doesn't feel prison-like, but for my own personal, I know that it feels safe. But you should just put your masks on and I mean, it was nice to see it.
Yeah.
They still have the bags for those of us who are taken out. And that's good. Here, you're gonna take something from here?
Did you drink my water?
I have an open mind if you.
No, I'm teasing her.
I was just being nice, whether you're teasing or not. Oh, pardon.
Nope. Okay. I've got 8:48, back from executive session. No action was taken. And with no other items on the agenda, I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you all.
Somebody needs to help me get this set up.
Talk to Andrew.
Did you get a new phone?
No, but I never put my Garden City thing in. And so I did not get the note from Aaron.
Well, you can log into it too and have it forwarded to your other email.
Yeah, that's how.
That's
Well,
how
I tried to log in once and it didn't work for me. Okay, I'm looking up my password.
Well, I didn't have anything in my email, and that's where I always get mine.
Yeah.
College
it goes
forwarded, but I didn't have anything because I looked at it before I couldn't. And it's not. It's
Turn us
all
off,
right.
Andrew.
I consider
I'm
it
so
so
what?
She was asking if
Are
you
we?
knew it.
Are we?
We're not muted. You're not there.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
All right.
You guys are great.
Yeah, we did adjourn.
Amy, where can I put this?
Oh, leave it there, I'll grab it.
I'll put it somewhere.
I'll put it in the trash, you're good.